Hi everyone, it's just a very simple game I've come up with, and I call it doing the splits, and it's in response to someone asking about how we might be able to have a bit of fun doing division. And I know in my teaching career, when it comes to doing division, often teachers are the ones put their hands to their head and pull their hair out, which is why I haven't got much hair left anyway. But it's just a simple way of finding equal parts and splitting numbers, hence doing the splits. And here's what it looks like. So basically, this is for the junior classes, and you'll see I've got all these numbers here, and they're all multiples of the numbers on a six-sided dice. Now, to play this game, two players, each has got a number of counters. I'll show you in a moment what it looks like. Player one will roll their dice. They might roll a 3, for example, and then they choose one of these numbers, and they try and find, well, which one of these numbers can I make equal groups of 3 with? Meaning, can I divide one of these numbers into 3s? So they've rolled a 3, and this player chooses the number 8. And what I encourage to do here is both players do the same, working out, and they've got a big stash of counters or whatever you'd like to use, and they get 8 counters, and they see if they can make equal groups of 3. Just 3 divided evenly into 8. And you'll find, no, it doesn't. It goes twice and there's 2 left over. So that player doesn't get anything for that round. Player 2, and it's important that they both do it, because if they both divide 3 into 8, and they get different answers, they can discuss why they got whatever answer they did. Player 2 has a roll, and they roll a 4. And player 2 goes, I'm going to go for this number 8. So they get 8 counters. Can they divide 4 into 8, and they can get 2 groups. So player 2 puts their counter on number 8, they win that number. Back to player 1, they roll, and they get a 5, and they go, I know, 5, 10, 15, yep, so they go to number 15, and they see if they can divide 5 into 15 evenly, and if they can, they place a counter on that number, and back and forth and back and forth and so on. First one, you can make it whatever you like. First one to get rid of their 5 counters, their 10 counters. First one to get 4 in a row. Different rules for different schools. So over time, they'll begin to predict what numbers they won't need to actually do the working out. For example, even numbers. If they roll a 2, they might realise, okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, any of those numbers, I won't need to actually do the physical setting out. So they're learning the multiples of 2. They're learning the multiples of 3, the multiples of 4, the multiples of 5. And over time, they'll begin to predict and predict and predict further and further. So, as they get better and better, I've just created another. This one's got a higher range of numbers, greater than 18. So here I could use a 10-sided dice. And in another video, you'll see how I've modified it to suit even the older kids. Here's what doing the splits looks like. Okay, here's how you play doing the splits. Player 1, player 2, got some counters. We might make it first to get rid of their 6 counters, or you could go 4 in a row, 3 in a row, you decide what to do. So, and here's some other counters to work out our things. So, player 1, they roll their dice, and a 6 comes up, and they might say, let's just say, they might be very low range ability. They might say, okay, I think 9. Let's see if we can get even groups of 6 if 9 counters. So I get 9 counters, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, can I get even groups of 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got some leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Can't do it, so that player doesn't get anything for that round. Player 2, they have their roll, and they roll a 6. Well, they're not going to go for 9. They might go for, well, let's just go for 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I can make a group of 9, so I put my counter there. When we do that, I'd encourage you to have both kids, both of them actually do the grouping, the making, because if one child gets one answer, one child gets another answer, then they can confer about it and see what's happening. Back to, leave that there. And you can decide whether they do that, if a number's already been used, whether they can knock each other off or not. Maybe it's best at this stage not to. Back to play one, they have, there you go, 4. And they're going to go, oh, I'm going to go for 16. Let's just count out now. Once again, they might count by ones, but I'm just speeding things up here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16. Now, can I make groups of 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't put enough counters there, did I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I can make 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 4. So I get to place my counter there. And back and forth and back and forth. And once again, we both make it. Now, that's with just the multiples of the dice, a 6-sided dice. I can then take it a bit further and see I've got larger numbers here. And that's when I can introduce the 10-sided dice. I might, a 1. Well, that's pretty good, so I could choose any number. You could decide ones don't count or they can count. Next person, oh, they get a 1 as well. This is good. And next, oh, 5. So we're hoping that as they get better and better at this, they'll learn to identify the multiples. And, well, I know 10 and 5, if it ends with a 0 or a 5, it could be a multiple. And rather than saying, well, it ends in 5, so it's got to be, I'd like them to see, well, how many times will 5 go into 45? How many times will 5 go into 35? Can they count? Can they make? See how they go. So that's how we play doing the splits.